City Skylines 2 added Offshore Oil with the Bridges and Ports DLC, and we're going to use it to make as much money as possible. At the same time, the unemployment rate is currently 18%, so today we have exactly two goals: make a ton of money and get unemployment down to 3%. We have two major sections of oil that we can extract resources from, which means we're going to build up a small little section right here for extracting oil. First, I'm going to buy these tiles because I really don't want to forget. That's going to cost us $206,000 in tile upkeep and pretty much all of our money up front, so this oil expansion really has to be worth it. Now this entire area is going to be filled to the brim with industrial, which means we need to make sure that our connections into this area are perfect. I can see three potential connections into our industrial area. The first one is going to be Crest Street. The second will be this road right here. The only thing I want to make sure of is that we can go underneath this bridge without anarchy, and we can. Perfect. The last and final road is going to be Belmont Highway. But because this road is already doing a bunch of heavy lifting, we're going to terminate it somewhere around here. We'll make Crest Street the main road in this area. So let's slap a 4-lane two-way highway right here, and there's only one thing that we need to adjust. We're going to change the ground type to Harbor. We'll call it a 4-lane industrial road. It'll support zoning and all utilities, and now we just need a variant of this road that only has 2 lanes. And what I love about this is that it feels so much more industrial. The main 4-lane road feels way too urban. The road layout for this area is going to be very straightforward. We'll replace this 4-lane road with our 4-lane industrial. Now, I just want to curve along the shore, but we don't want to get too close. And to make the zoning on the shore easier, we're going to send this straight, and temporarily we're going to curve right here, and that's where we'll end this road for now. And down here, all we're going to do is go underneath the bridge, curve around our water, and then curve into the road at a 90. Last but not least, our 4-lane highway is clearly struggling, and we are going to fix all of that very, very soon. In the meantime, I'm going to upgrade this entire thing to be a 4-lane road. And now we're going to transition our main 4-lane highway road into a 2-lane industrial. We'll send that down about 50 units. We'll pull this road down at a 90 and just make our final connection. And this road is really just meant to disperse traffic. We need to unlock the progression node water. And while we're here, we might as well unlock trains. Now I want these to front this road specifically, and even though we may not need it, I want at least 3 of them. And that's purely just based on looks. And then to cover up and hide all this ugliness, we're just gonna smooth it all out and pretend nothing ever happened. I'm really not sure how much oil this is gonna produce, so let's start out just by dragging one of these down, which seems to be a good thing anyways because we wouldn't have enough room to extend these ones. We have 2 different platforms. The semi-submersible oil platform, and this is meant for deeper waters. And then we have the compliant tower oil platform, and this is designed for more shallow waters. Because our oil is all the way down here, it probably makes the most sense to use the semi-submersible oil platforms. And now we have 6 of them in. Hopefully that extracts enough oil. All we have to do now is connect everything up with the seaway. Let's have 2 routes. Each route is going to cover half of these platforms, although the pathfinding is kind of a bit wonky. So let's flip this one around because we want this little tower thingy right here that's sticking out. We want it to be facing the side that our ship is going to run on. So I noticed that we have these little hexagon shapes, and I believe this is where it's extracting resources from. So we don't want too much overlap with the shapes. And then of course, we want to center it on our darkest parts, which gives us roughly a setup like this. The only thing that bugs me is the way that these sea lanes are set up. They tend to overlap like crazy. It's just overly complex for no reason. Route 1 will loop around these 2 stations and then go back. And Route 2 is going to enter from here. This is so messy. So let's try getting our first route in. We'll start with Route 1. Again, it's going to enter from right here. Why? Why, game? Why? Why do you need to do a loop? It doesn't even make sense. I'm really hoping that that does the trick. Yes. We have achieved what we set out to do. So we'll have oil company route 1. And here we go. And it doesn't even seem like we have a deficit. So this is all going to be exported, which means it's all going to make us money. Right now we're only making $364,000 off of industrial, and from crude oil, it's currently 0. So this gives us a really good benchmark to see how much money we're actually going to be able to make. And we already have 4 tons of storage, and we just unlocked the rocket fuel refinery. That's amazing, because we're going to need it for our industrial area. Oh hey, there's a ship. And it's a pink ship. That doesn't really feel like an oil ship to me, so I'm going to make these black and red. That's a bit better. Alright, while the game is simulating and making us some money, we have a small problem. And I really wish these would stop interrupting me. We also unlocked the nanopolymer synthesis unit. With how fast these unlock, it kind of feels like cheating. Anyways, we are producing 560 tons of oil per month, but we only have 100 tons of storage. So we need to set something up, otherwise we're going to burn through all our storage really quickly. In our static ploppables, we have the cargo harbor, and this is just a static version of the vanilla cargo harbor. Our real port is most likely going to be over here, but it's still hard for me to imagine that we wouldn't have any shipping operations. So with a bit of space from our offshore oil, I want to place 2 of these in. We're going to set both of them to be the same height as this road. The static version doesn't come with any surfaces, so we're going to add in the very stripped concrete dark. Already, that is way better. Now the big reason that I wanted to do this is so that we can take one of these narrow quay walls, try and snap close to the building, and then angle that into our oil company. Just like that right there. Now we're going to grab this all and set it to be the same height as the harbor. Let's fill all of this in, and we only need a quay wall on one side. And there's a bit of jank, but we can fix that later on. In the meantime, let's pull this back, and it's doing some crazy things. It really doesn't want to be moved. Yeah, and I'm just going to have to accept that this is going to be good enough. And so now what we can do is position these storage tanks alongside the building, but also the quay wall. And that is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Unfortunately, we can't fit another one of these in. So what we're going to do here is a bit unethical. We're going to overlap these. We're going to need an access road. Now, because this is going to be oil trucks driving on this road, I'm going to allow this curve. If it was something like a semi with a box trailer, we might have a few issues. All we have left is to add a few more storage tanks. I'm having a bit of a hard time trying to get all of them to fit, so I'm going to use one of the prop versions and just place a few extras in there. And for now, that right there is going to do the trick. And we still don't have enough storage. We're short by roughly 100 tons. So I say let's absolutely smash that storage goal. We're going to send this down 10 units and then we'll connect in. And how much do these are free? Well, if these are free, we don't even have to worry about it. This time I'm going to use some of the medium oil tank farms just to shake it up a bit. We'll place 3 exactly in this order. Then we'll have 1 unit of separation and then 3 more. And then finally, all I want to do is add in the roads that the trucks would use to drive in this area. We have smashed through our storage goal. We have roughly double the storage that we're producing, which leaves us with a bunch of wiggle room in case we ever need it. Our crude oil is only making $22,000 per month. The oil company is doing great. They have a profit of 175 grand per month. On our end, it seems like nothing has changed, which means we need to set up some industry in order to take our crude oil and refine it to the next level. And we have 2 buildings that are going to help us achieve this. We have the rocket fuel refinery and the nanopolymer synthesis unit. And I want to get this industry close to our oil tanks, but we are going to have a bit of setback. And that's only because I imagine there would be some sort of safety risk if we were to have them too close together. But if you know more about it, please feel free to share it with me. And I also want this building to have its own lot. I don't want it to front this road. So let's extend one out. Now we've already unlocked the upgrade too, the rocket propellant distillation. So this is going to give us a 5% industrial boost citywide. All we have left is our nanopolymer synthesis unit, and I'd really love if these could feel like one cohesive building. And I have an interesting idea to make this work. And I actually want to add 2 of these in. I don't want to get the double boost for the industrial efficiency, so for this one, we're not going to add the upgrade. And now I want to place this one behind these 2. There we go, that is perfect. The only thing I hate is how much smoke this generates. It's honestly way too much. To act as a layer of separation between the oil storage and our manufacturing, we're going to have a whole bunch of parking. So let's use the modern central parking lot, and we can fit 2 perfectly. The big issue though is that these parking lots are way too pedestrian friendly. So first we're gonna get rid of all of the benches, all of the trees, and all of these fancy lights. And wait a minute, we can't have EV charging here. This is oil. This isn't EV. There we go, much better. Now let's remove the concrete. We'll change it all to be the riverbed texture. And we're gonna have to cover up these markings. And that's definitely a fire hazard. So let's go to my fallback plan. Now for the pedestrian path, I have a somewhat brilliant idea. All we're gonna do is connect these 2 segments in. And because we have the bollards here, it's gonna stop vehicles from leaving the area. So every single person who comes in here is gonna be forced to stop at one of the checkpoints. I can only imagine that security in an area like this would probably be really important. And we already have trucks transporting our goods to a whole nother city. It's going to Gia, which is all the way out here. And of course there's a bunch of people walking on the highway. Why wouldn't there be, right? It's a total normal human thing. There's nothing more that I love than long walks on the highway. And this building is making $664,000 in income. It's honestly kind of crazy. Very similar idea with this one, although what I didn't know is that this building actually requires minerals and crude oil. So if we really want to make as much money as possible, we need to add in a bit of storage for minerals. I do want to make the transportation of those minerals to this building as easy as possible. So let's extend this out 20 units. We'll go down 10. And there's a few industrial assets that I really want to use. And honestly, they're perfect. They feel like real warehouse space. These buildings are double-sided. So what I want to do is place 1 on each side. And in total, we're going to have 4. I want a bit more setback from the road. And the reason I want the setback is so that the trucks would have an easier time loading and unloading. In fact, we might even make this a wider alley, and we might as well upgrade this road as well. It helps provide a visual hierarchy for the roads, even though we break it right here. Now I want to use the industrial clutter. I'm going to place 1 right there, and we're going to need a little bit more room. I want to snap this building to this alley, because I wouldn't want the clutter to be on our main road. Let's get rid of all the grass here, and we'll add in a few more of these box trailers ourselves. And this area is going to look too perfect, so we're going to replace the surface, then we'll add a fence. And last but not least, we're going to take the grid tool, a few of these stains, and just spray them all over. Now this building stores grain, unfortunate. This one produces paper, and this one produces beverages. So we didn't even get the storage that we wanted, but whatever, it's fine. We have no way to influence this in the vanilla game, and I don't want to micromanage it. And I'm starting to notice that we're making a lot more money. From crude oil, we're still only making $22,000. But what about for petrochemicals? There we go, $85,000. That is exactly what I wanted to see. In crude oil, we have a surplus of 438 tons. In petrochemicals, we have 115 tons surplus. All of these companies are highly profitable, and with a bit more time, these should be making even more money. The last time I checked, our unemployment was at 18%. Right now it's at 10.4. So it's getting better, but it's still not good enough. So we're going to turn this entire section into a massive industrial area. And the first thing that we need is a road that connects this section to this section. We don't currently have any more signature industrial buildings, so for the meantime, I'm just going to continue building our grid out. And when we get to angles like this, we're going to make sure to come in at a 90. We want to reduce the amount of connections on our main road because it's already doing a really important job. But that doesn't mean we don't want any. So roughly in the middle, I'm just going to pull 1 connection down, and I want another one over here. All of our industrial will be contained within this grid. We currently have a small deficit in stone, and I want to fix that. But if you know me, then you know I hate the stone surface. And until it's fixed, I'm only going to do the bare minimum. If you don't know, essentially, if we were to build a stone mine right here, and we drag out the surface, it's going to make the entire mountain look flat. So let's make this large section right here some stone mining. And now I just need to find some type of surface that I can plop on top of this. And we can get away with adding so many trees because these companies really don't want you to see what's happening. So it's perfectly justified and perfectly reasonable. And we've already unlocked the concrete batch plant, which is amazing. So I'll place that right there. And I'll save this entire section to be exclusive for any of these stone mining buildings. For the rest of this, we're gonna go in and place a whole bunch of industrial. And I didn't get very far, but we've unlocked the gravity separation unit. Now the only dangerous thing is that I really don't think we produce enough stone to be going crazy hard on this, but we're gonna do it anyways. And I actually want to rework this. Let's temporarily front the buildings right here, and then we're gonna provide a one-way access road. And now let's flip all of these around. And now it just feels much more cohesive. It's as if this area is only for the concrete production or the stone refining. Another big thing that I really like to do is use the riverbed thin texture, grab your area bucket, set it to only be road and net, and just add this entire texture all over. And to vary it up, we'll add in a little bit of a thicker one here. At the start, it's gonna look a little bit odd, maybe even a bit repetitive, but once we have all of our buildings in, I promise you it's gonna look way nicer. We also have these smaller industrial buildings, which almost seem like they could be an office. So let's get a few of these placed together. We'll get rid of the parking. I could see this potentially being some type of main office building, and maybe this building is attached to it. We'll add it in our alleyway and extend the surface over here because it should feel like one building. And there is some crazy things happening in this building. Let's replace the surface because I want it to stop auto-connecting to the road. And for the rest, we'll just fill it with some riverbed texture. Let's provide a bunch of parking, and we'll get rid of anything that makes it too fancy. And we also want to delete the fences because we're going to add in our own custom fences anyways. And you shouldn't have to pay to park at work. That should be a crime. All of our industrial has been very neat and tidy, and I love that, but I don't want the entire area to look like that. Which means from here on out, we're gonna grab the biggest industrial buildings we can find, and we're just gonna plop all of them down. I usually like to give one unit of separation, and also have some buildings front different roads. And the last thing I like to do is connect buildings in really closely together. That way they could feel like they're part of the same operation, and it comes together as one cohesive unit. The really big plus about doing this though, is it helps introduce just a tiny bit more variety. Alright, and there's all of our industrial. There's a few buildings that haven't filled in yet. We'll have to keep a close eye on this because I don't want to ruin all of our demand. The only thing reducing our industrial demand right now is our labor availability. Let's take a look at our unemployment. We are now at 2.3%. We are making $65,000 every hour. And what can I say? Our rocket fuel refinery is doing really well. What about our oil? We actually don't have enough employees, so it's ruining our efficiency. And we really can't have that. The only issue is there really isn't going to be too many good places to put some residential here. So my short-term solution is to take this 2-lane road and just send it all the way up. We'll add some cul-de-sacs. I want to remove all the zoning from Pinehurst. And because it's so close to the industrial, I would like to get some cheaper homes in. To start off, we're going to zone all of this to just be waterfront housing. And while we're here, we're going to turn this into a 4-lane. Alright, with all of that done, I have a somewhat brutal idea. We are going to turn a small section of this into a trailer park. which means we're gonna do a similar branching motion. And because this is a trailer park, we're not gonna worry about perfection at all. We're just gonna go through and randomly place some of these in with a little bit of separation between each of them, but not too much, because these should feel pretty tight. And this is definitely a very interesting area, to say the least. It gives us 62 households and 119 residents. It looks a little bit too nice, so I want to try and make this look just a bit worse. And even though this is meant to be a poor trailer park, I can guarantee you that there are children here, and I honestly don't care. Every child should have access to a park, no matter their income. So let's place one in there and delete these two houses. And I guess that's kind of ironic. Every child should have access to a park, but not a house apparently. Let's add a little bit of parking. And the rest is just something we'll do in detailing. Do we have enough employees over here? And we're so close. It's much better than last time. We are still making a massive profit. So we're making $76,000 every hour. Absolutely amazing. Petrochemicals is making us 100 grand. Crude oil is only making us 17. It's amazing. 290K, 290K again, and 240K. So this industry as a whole is thriving. And unemployment is at 2.4%. So I'd say that's a pretty big win. There's only one more thing left to do, and that is some detailing. And there's only one core message that I'm trying to communicate with the detailing. This area is disgusting, and your nose would burn driving through it. So keep that in your mind, and let's jump into detailing. Alright, and that right there is where I'm going to call it. Overall, I think it came out really nicely. And it's honestly amazing how much more money we're making. We went from $20,000 an hour to $84,000. Now to wrap things up, I went through and renamed all of our districts, and also the new city name is Providence Bay, in case you haven't seen it. And that's a wrap. First, I need to give an apology to Jake Hill, who's been a Metropolitan Loon for 4 months, and now I gotta say sorry to everyone else. My outro animation is too broken, and I'll fix it next time. Today's shows go to Jake Hill, Aiden Franowski, Gary Key, Michael Mills, Deku, Middleveen, Evan Aird, Henry Vopel, Justin, Seth Wilson 5465, Vortex Rim 1762, and to everyone else who supports the channel. Seriously, thank you. For sneak peeks, save file access, and much more, you can join us over on Patreon or YouTube. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.